Welcome to Miracle Stories.
Hi everyone, I thought I'd share my testimony because y'all know I don't gatekeep, so why would I gatekeep my peace and my happiness and my positivity, okay? If you're not a believer, like, totally fine, no judgment here, but listen to this, it might change your life. Now, for starters, I did not grow up religious. You cannot tell me that there was a God in the sky. I needed proof. I was like, where's the proof? I think the rocks collided, okay, and that made Earth. But anyways, just me as a person, I'm a very hardworking person. I love to earn things. I don't want anything for free. I want to earn it. Like, there's nothing like the satisfaction of earning something. And all my life, I've wanted to be a model. I wanted to act. And I grew up super insecure and shy. And, like, just the way I was wouldn't correlate with modeling, acting, being in front of a camera. Like, I could barely talk to people. Like, I was just so awkward and shy. And people would bully me. People would tell me to think realistically. I was overweight. I had acne going on, like just a lot going on. So many reasons why I shouldn't have believed in myself to become a model or actress. And I remember just moving to LA kind of spontaneously. I dropped out of college. I was like 17 or 18 years old and I moved to LA and I was super broke and I hit rock bottom and I was really depressed. And it was just a really bad situation. And following me for a while, I was living with 6 girls, living in bunk beds, and I didn't have any friends out here or family out here. I was I was really alone. And I was dealing with a boy, and as much as this is hard and embarrassing to admit, he was very religious and I just wanted to impress him. So I would kind of act like I was into religion, knowing so well I didn't know anything about religion. I didn't care for it. But disclaimer, I've always had the morals of Christianity. Things were pretty bad in that situation. It was pretty toxic. And the thing is, it brought me into the church and it got my feet wet. I still didn't believe all the way, but it got my feet wet. And I remember one day I was like, I'm just going to start going to church. And I looked up a church, first one that showed up, and I went. And I just remember just bawling my eyes out. And it was just such a crazy experience. I'm not crying, you are. And although I didn't believe all the way, just that feeling during worship and the people and the message, it just spoke to me. I was just like, what is going on? So I continued to go every Sunday and I looked forward to it. It was like the best part of my week. But during this time that I was going to the church, I was still in such a bad mindset. And I remember it was at a point where I was crying every day and I didn't want to be here anymore. I was giving up on myself and my life and just everything. Nothing was working out for me. I wasn't booking jobs. I wasn't being noticed by anybody. I was being treated bad in the situation I was in. And I hated life. But every Sunday, I don't know, something about being in the church was just I was just uplifted, and the music, it was just, I can't even explain it. And eventually I started just getting more into it. I started doing Bible studies. I started going to this group thing we had on Tuesdays. And then I joined another group and I made so many great friends. Literally all my friends that I have today, I met through my church groups, and they are well, not all of them. I have some other ones, but they're just so amazing and they've changed my life, you guys. I remember the day we were sitting in a circle and I just started crying and I broke down about how I just have nobody out here and I felt so alone, and it's just changed my life since then because I have such a great group of friends. And so fast my life turned around, you guys. I don't like to brag about anything, and I went from not being able to go grocery shopping, not knowing what I could eat. I would literally eat my roommate's food out the trash. And I was living in bunk beds. And now I have my own place. I have my own car. I'm ugly crying right now. But I just bought my own 2022 Honda Hybrid. I have an amazing home. I can buy groceries whenever I want. I can go to Erewhon sometimes. I have great friends. I've been on freaking New York City's Billboard 3 times. I've been in Target and Ulta, and I've been in so many stores. I've been on so many websites, and it's just my life did a 180 so quickly. And with God in my life, it's I just always have this security that everything is intentional. And just to go back, how bad that situation I was in with that boy, as bad as it was, it brought me to God, and I know that was intentional. He works in mysterious ways, you guys. So whenever you're going through something bad, it's a blessing in disguise. But I'm so happy that I started to follow Jesus. And I got baptized. But I love y'all.
What's the weirdest thing that ever happened to you that made you think that God was real? And I'm not talking about believing in some kind of universal energy. I'm talking about something that was so coincidental that Jesus himself must have been sitting in your living room listening to you talk. For me, it happened a few months after my dad passed. I got up just like I do every day and went over to my little prayer wall, said my normal daily prayers, and then got ready to leave. Before I left, I stopped there and I said, if anything out there is listening to me at all, if there really is anything listening to me, I could use a sign that you've got my dad or that he's okay, because this is going to absolutely destroy me. I'm not going to survive it. I walked away from there. I went about my day and I expected absolutely nothing. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a phone call from my brother. He said, hey, you remember that dream I had a few months back where Dad showed up at the house, but we all knew that he was gone, so it was weird that he was there because he's not supposed to be there? I said, yeah, why? He said, because that dream picked back up last night, right where it left off when he was asking for a cup of coffee, so I made him the cup of coffee. We sat down in the kitchen, we talked for a little while, and then he went to the front door to leave. He turned around when he got outside and he looked me square in the face, and he said, this is my last stop. Tell Sarah I'm okay. I was just calling to relay the message. Halfway through the conversation, I knew, and I was going, oh God, you are not about to actually do this, because I asked you for a sign, but I don't really want it, because then I have to be held accountable, and I'm not interested in that. And then when my brother said what he said, it turned into irritation. Why couldn't you have just given me that dream? I would have loved to have seen my dad, even if it was just in a dream. Oh, that's right, because I talked about it, prayed for it, and my brain just dreamt it, so I would have written it off. Then my irritation turned to sheer panic. Is there actually a God listening to me? Is there actually somebody listening to me? Because if there is, I need to clean up my mouth. First things first. I've always heard people say that God knows what you need before you ask for it. And this was one of those things that I just could not chalk up to a coincidence. My brother had the first half of that dream 2 months beforehand. He had no clue that day that I had asked for that morning. God knew I was going to ask for it. So he gave my brother that dream that night so he could call me that afternoon. First time I've been able to tell that story without turning into a complete and total mess. What's your weird story?
If you think God had given up on you, you should listen. 2021, I had deployed to Jordan, and I had met this best friend. I had made, even to this day, he considered probably my best friend, and anyone who knows me knows him. And his name is Mike. I met Mike on a workout type thing. Like, we had actually started going plant-based together. He really helped me through my deployment, through it all. Like, he was there. Like, he wasn't even in the military. He was a military contractor. To this day, I deployed like almost 3 years ago now, and me and Mike talk to each other every single weekend. It's not a weekend that don't go by that we don't talk. Mike had went home on vacation, because as a contractor, you don't get that much time to spend with your family. 3 o'clock in the morning one night, I get a phone call. He said, I'm positive on lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer. And if you know anything about Hodgkin's lymphoma, it's a attack on the immune system, and it limits your body, the ability to fight off infections and stuff. Might live all the way in the Netherlands, so 8+ hour time difference. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. A voice in my head was just like, he don't know me, but you do. I could see that his mental was just slowly deteriorating. Everybody I knew that had a strong foundation with God, I ended up telling them about the whole situation, because at certain times we got to pull from every weapon we have of Christ. Because sometimes your faith might not be enough, but there it is. And sometimes the person that you're praying for might not even have faith at all. The only thing I knew to do was pray. I know Jesus tell her to be practical, that when your brother is cold, give him a blanket, not a scripture. Pray about it and leave it alone. That's what my mama told me. She said, pray about it, baby, and leave it alone. Because if you keep bringing it to God, it's like you reminding him that your prayer haven't been answered. And this shows a lack of faith. I understand you may not never really truly had a connection with God, but you don't know the God I serve. You may not be a believer. Luke 10 tells us that Jesus came to save the lost, not the righteous. We have to be very strict on how we are as Christian people, because sometimes the only God people may see in this world is a God in you. They may not never know your God one-on-one. Through you, they can see God. Through you, you a direct reflection of the God you serve. That's why it's so important for us not to be lukewarm Christians. Because he had night sweats. He was going through it, and he would sit there on the phone with me 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, his time, and he would allow me to give him sermons. He would allow me to talk about God with him. Why do bad things happen to good people? Bad things happen to good people so the world can see the works of God. But even then, when we talk about good, the Bible says in Matthew 19 that only one is good. When we talking about the rich in the kingdom, don't strive to be good. You strive to be obedient and righteous. Mike was willing. He was willing to listen to his friend talk about his God. Mike went and bought a Bible. He started reading in the Old Testament. So one day Mike called me, showed me his pap scans and all of that. I think they were called. And I can see that the cancer is all around his heart. It's on his spine. He got lymph nodes all under his arms. Trying so hard not to lose my faith. And he's showing me all this. I'm just like, this can't be real. He said, I thought I was in stage 1. And the diagnosis was off. And I said, so what, what do you not have cancer? He said, nah, I'm in stage 4. We found out that it's stage 4. There's some doctor somewhere told him that he got 6 months to live. There's no way. Someday he'll be like, man, I'm just out of it. Like, I had no fight today. Someday he'll be like, it's getting better. It's getting better. Right now, we talking about like month 4 or 5 right now. They gave him 6 months to live. I said, any update? He say, man, yeah, actually, the counts are gone. Did my pap scan in? It's nothing. It's nothing. It's gone. We serve a sudden God. Problem is, we've tried to work our time into God's time. Our time is not like God's time. They telling you got 6 months to live. They do a scan and it's gone. And no traces. It's a sudden thing. God is a sudden God. We serve a sudden God. We don't serve a God that take time. When he want it done, it's done. It's already done. The battle was already won. You had to have faith of a mustard seed. You know the God you serve. There wasn't something that over a period of time, it started to go away. It went from him having it, one appointment, he got it, the next appointment is gone. And you tell me God ain't real. The counsel was gone. By stripes we heal. Why don't people believe? God is here. He haven't went nowhere. He's right here. God is not fair. You just gotta have faith.
Thank you so much for watching. If you found any value, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and do share with someone that could use a bit of a pick-me-up. If you've made it this far, comment Jesus in the chat. This has been Miracle Stories, and I am Divinely Brave.